Gods of Egypt? How generic. More like rocks that bee sniff. What? Where was I going with that? Hello everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host, John Maffio, and today's featured movie is Gods of Egypt. It's a big blockbuster film, and it's about gods in Egypt. The story concerns two brothers, played by the man who plays Jaime Lannister of Game of Thrones, and Gerard Butler. Jaime Lannister is about to be crowned king, the new king of Egypt. Gerard Butler has been banished to do dirty work outside of the palace where Jaime Lannister resides with his father, with their father, and he's not a fan of that, so he comes and causes chaos, and he basically takes over the reign. He also basically throws his brother out of the palace and gouges his eyes out so he can't come back. His eyes represent, like, his power, so I guess without his eyes he doesn't have the god power. So now a mortal man has to come retrieve Jaime Lannister, and they both have to go back to Egypt to rescue... I lost track of the plot. Before I criticized myself for paying to see the movie, I didn't, because I used a gift card. So it was Regal's money, not mine. So I got all this scot-free, because Gods of Egypt sucks! It sucks so hard! It sucks more than Monica Lewinsky in her best prime days. Oh, Hillary Clinton joke. Well, kind of. Relevancy to politics in America. This could have been a product of cinema that could have been really fun for cable. If you're sitting at home, you're like, oh, Gods of Egypt, that's an enjoyable movie. And there are scenes that do represent what you would call fun at the movies. And just in general, fun action sequences, fun moments with characters, just fun visual stuff. But for the most part, Gods of Egypt is, for the lack of a better term, piece of shit. It seems like most of the seasoned actors in this film were just there to get a paycheck. Jeffrey Rush plays the grandfather of Gerard Butler and Jaime Lannister. I keep calling him Jaime Lannister. I know it's not his real name, but that's how I associate him by. Jeffrey Rush plays their grandfather, and basically his role in the movie is one of the most ridiculous things in the world. Not to spoil it too much, but I'm going to spoil it because you don't need to see this movie. He basically has to protect the Earth. He lives on a boat in space, and he has a little trident, and every day, once or twice during the day, a giant monster with a million teeth shows up to try to eat and devour the Earth. With his little trident, shoots little pellets of fire at it so it can go away. Did you understand all that? This whole film is abundant with CGI. Most of it is terrible. Gerard Butler and Jaime Lannister both have ability as gods to transform into these gladiator-like beings. They could fly and use advanced powers to basically crush their enemies. They're fighting each other as two giant CGI characters in a CGI environment. Nothing is real, and it looks so fake. It looks so artificial. It looks terrible. The CGI, for the most part in this film, isn't even utilized well. I didn't see the real clear direction in a lot of the action sequences going on in this movie. It was just they were just there. They were just there. Because movies need action sequences. A lot of these characters are gods because the movie is called Gods of Egypt. So these gods, you think would have the ability to do some really cool things, right? Well, they do, but apparently they can't do it until a certain point in the movie. It's kind of like, if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, how Goku, Trunks, Vegeta, they all have Super Saiyan capabilities. And they can go Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, 4, etc. They can, enhance their powers over time. Except Dragon Ball Z actually executes the idea of them improving their skills right over time. This movie has no rules. There's no rules. You need, even in the most ridiculous action movies, you need rules for your audience so they can understand, oh, this is why this is happening. But there are no rules. The only one who I actually enjoyed watching in this movie, really, was Gerard Butler. Because Gerard Butler, I think he understands his role in Hollywood now, for the most part. He could have great roles if he wanted them, but he's been getting these weird typecast roles where he plays an over-the-top leader of sorts, and you always have to shout his dialogue, and I'm cool with that. he did an honest, serious, real performance in 300, which I really enjoyed, as campy as it could be at moments. But this time, it feels like he took his 300 performance that he applied then in 2007 and reapplied it here, except this time he was totally aware of how stupid the movie was, so he just ran with it. You want to know something else about Gods of Egypt? You know what they really reminded me of in a nostalgic way, for some reason? These flicks, which are actually fun, tongue-in-cheek, guilty pleasure films. This movie is trying to be a guilty pleasure, but it actually fails on all fronts. PP! Gods of Egypt. There was potential here, honestly. But for the most part, it's cliched, it's unidentifiable, it also looks terribly outdated. And it came out this year, in 2016. It actually feels like it would fit right next to, like, the Clash and Wrath of Titan films. But even those are probably more enjoyable, for reasons I'm not even going to get into, because both of those movies suck too, but they're both better than this. Gods of Egypt is just terrible. It's a 1 out of 5. It's an abomination. It could have been at least a 2 for guilty pleasure purposes, but it didn't. It couldn't even get that far from me. But now I want to know from you guys, if you've seen Gods of Egypt over the past week, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree or disagree? If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and check out my Facebook and Twitter accounts in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'll see you guys next time.